Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray and today we continue our Let's Play of Factorio DeathWorld, where we last episode just got our red and green science up and running, and in this episode we'll start to work towards getting steel, a mall and such up and running. Before we start, I just want to show you a little modification I made to green science. This looks a lot better than before, so I decided to go with this setup instead. It also means that we'll have a little buffer for our research or for our things. So I think that is quite nice. So with that out of the way, let's get on with today's episode. As I was saying, in today's episode I want to work on getting ourselves a little mall up and running. I just kind of want to do it here. We might run into some issue with the iron, but that is completely fine. So while I remember, and before we start to build the bus, let's just set up a few of the things we need to continue. Let's get some better inserters, might be good. Could get some better speed just to get things flowing. And that will be fine. Let's get that one. Let's get some underground just to have things going, and maybe some more grenade damage could be good to clear out fighters. There we are. Also working towards combat robotics will be good in the near future, so we can start to get a bit of defense up and running. And combat robots. But firstly, let's get our mall up and running. I'm getting somewhat tired of handcrafting all the things, so I think it'll be good to do. So firstly, 1, 2, 3, 4 belts in is what I want. I think this will be just fine. And then I'll go with my standard setup for builds like this, doing it just like here. That means that this will pretty much make gear wheels for us. On 4 of them, since that is quite important to get. And over here we'll have our pipes. So far pipes are being used for not only our walls, but also for expanding our power as soon as we go forward, which is quite soon we'll have to do that. So that is actually not too bad. So with this setup, we will be able to make a modular, expandable mall that can continue down as far as we need it to, with the ability to expand out even further. So we have 4 inputs here. We'll have the exact same 4 inputs over here. We can put in 5 if needed. I think 4 will be good. So to show you how it works, it's quite simple. We'll have an entire iron line going in. That will split in this way and add resources to the network. I'll just do it here from here to here. Will probably be fine to give us iron that jumps into the middle we use for these. Down this way, I would like to move all of our products, so all of our gear wheels, all of our things, down to be used for different things down the bus, or down the mall that is. So just to give you a hang of how it looks, let's just get iron hooked up first right here, since that is the first thing we need to get this kind of powered. Before we get too far, we also need to set up the steel so we can start to make medium electric poles, since that will make it a lot easier to power this entire setup. So this is pretty much the way the setup works. We'll have inputs, we'll have outputs to the same side, giving us resources on the belt as needed. This means that this one, like over here, will have iron flowing in this way and jumping here to there. That is not too bad. We could in theory jump this all the way over one further, but I do like having double inputs when we do this. So we could just power this for now with small electric poles and then just change it out with medium ones as we get going. Could actually power it like that quite easily. We'll be able to power everything down here if we do the same. That is actually not a bad way to power this. Want to have a little sliver here without power. Hopefully we'll fix that going forward. But look at that. A nice amount of products going through that we can use to build whatever we need, be that walls or not. And should we get just a few things up and running before we get going? Or should we just go set up steel right away? Now, let's just set up a few more things here before we get going. I think that'll be the best way to do it. Just getting all basic things sorted. For those of you that don't know, a mall is pretty much a hub or a place where all the basic building blocks of a base gets made. It is quite important to have, as handcrafting things on demand is quite tedious and it can slow down progress quite a bit if you want to go at any kind of decent speed. So some of the first things I normally add to my bus is these, the splitters and belts, together with the inserters. Two of the main things always used. A good way to line this up is like this. I'll take the inserters first, because we'll need to make room for red belts going forward. These right here. To get things lined up. We could also just skip out on the blue. And not worry about getting lubricant in. Do not take up too much room, because when I get to a place where I need express belts, I will be in a much better situation. So firstly, let's do a little bit of setup here. And I'll probably do the inserters first. I think that'll be the easiest way to go. Just making 2 rows for those. And then continuing from there. So inserters. I want you in the middle to be used for these on the side. So we can just look. This one require for these two. We'd also set up the burner ones so we have them in storage for our smelters. So if we do something like this with long-handed, we'll then have the speed ones over here, and then we can have filters. We can have what's it called, stack ones here, and then we in theory could change this one out with stack filter or filter stack ones. But for now, this is good enough to get us going. So to get all of this working, we do just need the iron. We have the rest already being produced. And then we just need a few other things. I will make a few chests here and there that's designed to hold what I need to go forward. For example, a stack of each. So this one will hold a stack of red, a long-handed, a stack of yellow, and a stack of burners. So just limiting these for that one. We also need to get these to produce. The easiest way to do it is, in theory, you can have a long-handed going directly in, but then run into an issue where we might run out. So what I normally do instead is put in a chest. We'll jump this one to the opposite side, and then just have inserters doing this, going all the places we need them to. Also, of course, limiting it to 1 stack. The setup is something like this for our inserters. We just need to grab a bit of green circuits, which I just want on one side, because I want copper and steel on one, I want green circuits and red circuits on another one, and so forth going forward. So let's get the green circuits on the inside here. I think that'll be fine. I will just split it out up here, jumping it in somewhat easily. But in theory, do this just to make it a bit easier to jump in the next things I need. There we are. Then I would like to split up the green to go this way, but only on one side. And it might as well just be up here that I split it. That does make it somewhat easier to manage. Doing something like this. Making room for a red belt in the future, or red circuits in the future to supply it in, is an easy way to do it. There we are. That is green circuits in. Now for the good part. Now we just need to hook up a few things. And as we can see, this requires both steel and, not steel, but iron and green circuits. This requires iron and green circuits. So you do need to have a few going in. What I normally do here, or what you can do, is if you drag the iron over here, once you have them both on each side, you will be able to do something like this. I'll split you off. You'll go down this way, adding iron to the build again. You'll continue down this way as well. Meaning we can have iron going in on this side for both of them, and we can have green circuits going on the opposite side. So if we do this, let's just make a few more things of what we need. Also why I want to make a bus, so I don't have to handcraft going forward. But if we do this, you'll jump to here, supplying what we need. Here you can't jump it right here instead. That does make it a bit easier to manage. And you'll do that one, jump as well. To be honest, we can actually skip this one. Just remember a very nice thing you can do. So no iron is needed back here. Iron in. And over here we'll just have the electronic circuits going in. At least for now. So please jump you. That is green circuits that can be added to this little setup. Do this quickly. Giving power to this one. Giving power down here. And now we can hook up most of the things we need. So, plates in. We have those right here. We can just add the inserters for it. Then we'll get the green circuits from over here. And there's a few ways to get it in. For now, I'll just do it here. So, jumping you to there. Applying green circuits to what we need. Doing a little jump to make room for what we need to go in. Pretty much just like this. Having green circuits going in. And supplying here and supplying there. So now that this one is almost automated, it is now. We'll be able to drag you down, drag you down. You can actually grab from both sides if one is not fast enough. That will start to fill up you. I'll start to make this one. We're just adding a single chest down here for our fast inserters. So that way we have this going, slowly filling up. Here's one for... Ooh, that's why we need... well, not need a different way to do it. We can just grab you from here. But yeah, better power poles will enable us to place this a bit differently. That is pretty much our inserters sorted. Let's just get a few of you as well. That is our burner inserters to use for the furnaces. Or not the furnaces, but for our steam engines. So that's things are producing. We are buffering quite a bit right now, but that is fine. We will be producing a bit of pollution. Ooh, that bites a base out here already. A bit of water. That might be good. So, so far the bites are still at bay. We are not provoking them too much. Oh, but they are getting touched a lot more. So a way to solve that can be doing something like this. I'll do a little chest here that can buffer a few of these belts that we will use as a wall for now. Ooh, and I should probably get a filter one instead. Yeah, giving you, you'll filter out this one. That way we can store, what is that going to store? It's going to store about 1,000 pipes that we can use for walls and quite easily set it up. And as soon as we have bricks, we can change it out for walls instead. That is quite good. While that is going, while this is going, we actually want to set up the next part of this. That is the belts. That is actually quite important. 3, there. Let's just get ourselves the first ones first. On this one, it's quite important to get belts in the middle. Since this one requires belts, this one requires belts. And I'll just shift them around 2 seconds. So here and there. Just because that requires green circuits, and we do have it on this side already. I don't really want to take him out just yet. Oh yeah, not too shabby. So again, we'll need iron into the middle one. We'll just grab it over here and move it in. The bison are getting... Look how good these are. They don't even know what to do with them. The power to the pipe wall. A very underestimated defense. So hopefully you will do that as well in the future, when you find out just how strong they are. There. Here is, you'll go this way. You'll go that way, out. Could do that as well. Need to go to the next line. So lock you. If you are 401 is normally my standard offered things, and you'll get 50. Yeah, that is quite good. That means we can hook up the rest of this with a bit of power. Yeah, and please jump you to here. Yeah. And now we'll just hook up these. We have everything we need for it. So here you are. Please grab that. You need it as well. That will give you that. Here is some input of gears, both sides. Applying to these. We'll get some iron in here, and we get a long-handed to grab from there. Probably have to go get some more power made. That will automate our undergrounds, our splitters, our belts, and our inserts is good as well. So now that is going, I'll just handcraft a few of these to get things flowing. We'll of course grab a bit of pipes to have a surplus of things. But now we can leave this. This will slowly produce. Hopefully, to be honest, let's just make one little here to protect us. Couldn't in theory have it in here. Both of them actually. In case the biters decide to go and eat our little mole here, that would be quite bad. There we are. Bit of setup. And burners. I took burners. I took some boilers. I took a few things. So now that this is going, we will be able to hook up a lot more down here. Let's just grab this one. I'm grabbing this many because then I can line up the power poles for what we need. Let's do that so we know how the setup is like. That will slowly but surely fill up. Let's make one more so we have hooked up 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can also hook in the second line afterwards. And we'll hook up the power poles. Make sure that we are producing a few things. We'll hook up the pipes. This will generate a ton of pollution, but only when I start to use it. So 9, 10. Let's get a few more so we can get the rest of this down. Look at that. All of a sudden we have 26.9 megawatts of power, which is not too shabby. So now that we have this automated, we have a few belts. We probably should expand out the wall up this way as well, and maybe to over here to the side, just to make sure that we don't get into any kind of issues. We also need to fix our inputs. 200 is quite a lot, but it's fine. So that is good. Let's get some research going as well. Let's get the car so we can go exploring a bit. Projectile damage might actually be good, just getting these. One thing you should always remember in a DeathWorld, resources can be scarce. And if you upgrade the damage, that also means that you save on resources. Because a bite of dead quicker means that we use less ammo and such. So it's actually not a bad way to do it. Let's see here. This is working very fine. I very much want to set up the last few things here before I get distracted with other things. Because that is what I do. So that'll be our red belts. 1, 2, 3. And down here we can start to do something else. I like to set up mining the miners we need quite badly. These we can wait a bit with. And we need to set up our assembly machines. Could in theory do it here and here. Great. Good job. And what else do we very much want going forward? Start to make that as well, and the rest here is being produced somewhere else. That is actually not too bad. Yeah, pretty much just setting up these three will be a most important thing to get done now. And we are starting, look how much we're consuming from the base. It most definitely can't keep up. So this one's actually so important to get going. Let's make 100 at a time. That's fine. Get you. Let's get a long-handed as well. Grab from there. Let's get some power poles down here. Then we just need the gear wheels. That is being completely consumed somewhere else, but very much needed down here. Yeah, iron shortage quite badly. We have 10. Let's just go and set them up so we can actually get this input filled. Luckily we have a bit of iron nearby, so hopefully it won't be too bad. And we can kind of clear up this old one going forward. So let's just get this away. This old setup. That's old belts, that's fine. These two we can pick up as well. Let's leave some of this for now. I don't want to tear up too much of it. The bites are actually attacking quite quickly. So let's get the mining fixed. There we are. And here are a few more miners. I just kind of want to fill in this entire thing going forward. They are getting... But look, we have enough ammo for it for now. We just need to get a lot more of these green circuits. That's the case. Yeah, supply is not great at the moment. But that's just the life of Factorio player. Yeah, stone is fine. Grab some iron. Then we just kind of need to get the rest filled in. And quite quickly, if I must add. Don't want to get into too much of a brawl with the biases before we have this set up. Yeah, nothing going down here. Our science is actually consuming a lot more than I thought. That's fine. It's just a throughput issue, so it's just an issue of me not having enough hooked up. Build full. It will become an issue soon. Luckily, they're quite easy to expand out. So let's grab this. Let's get these out the way. Fill in the rest of the miners. That's a bit too much junk I have on me. I have mines both, so I do need to have something that sorts this out. There's a little chest. I just want to get out of some of these things. For now. Drag you down this way. So that gives us a bit more production of the copper. I just need to hook this up. And I really need to make sure that I don't jam this one if there's no room in the chest. We can do it with a little buffer just to be sure. And can I sort this out somehow? Maybe if I do this, I'm able to. You'll go in, you'll output all iron ore to the right, in case some of it gets filled in. They'll just kind of go over here and go back into this little setup. Then make sure that, let's go this way, if you mine any iron down here, you'll just kind of go back out that way. That seems to be working somewhat decently. I mean, how much of this can I pick up without killing my system? Most of it. Let's do this. That should at least enable us to have giving us 300% increase in throughput. And hopefully it doesn't jam. Could put in a buffer here just to make sure. So doing a little buffer like this. Costs a bit of power, but it makes sure that if this ever backs up, which is most certainly going to happen before the iron backs up going forward, it'll be fine. So that actually means iron is looking quite good. It is starting to back up, which is exactly what I want to see. That means that we can start focusing on getting a better defense, so they don't try to sneak in and attack my radar. A radar is actually one of the things that the biters hate the most. They're at least attracted to it quite heavily. So that's quite good to know. We're not touching that yet. We're touching these. This one is consuming most of it. Then we'll have to fill in the top as well. So I think I'm gonna end the episode here. I think we have done quite good in terms of getting the mall up and running. And next episode, I kind of want to spend quite a bit of iron expanding out our wall, making sure that we are safe in both the north, south, the east, and the west, of course. Also exist. So I can expand without having to worry about the biters eating a certain part of my base. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll leave a like on this video, and of course leave a like on the first one if you haven't done it. And subscribe to my channel. That will mean a lot to me if you do that. And with that, I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.